All right, so this is my 1986 Subaru BRAT. I meant to look up what BRAT was. I did know once, but I can't remember. So Mary will probably put it in the bottom what BRAT means. But these were made in Japan. This is a U.S. import one. So there's 2 generations that were imported to the U.S. I understand the 3rd generation went to Australia. These didn't meet crash airbags and all that after 1987 was the last year they were imported. It's a little 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed transmission. It's got the dual range, which is front wheel drive, 4-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low. Subaru's pretty cool. They got these, kind of weird shaped steering wheels. It's
thumb grippies.
Yeah, well, it's just got the 2 markers here. I have changed the cluster on this. My speedometer didn't work when I got it, and I was able to buy one off the internet. So the mileage isn't exactly. This one has around 220,000 on the other thing. The story on this one is I got it in a trade. These are hard to get, and I feel blessed for getting it. So I got it in a trade. A guy he'd had this in his garage for a number of years. About 8 years, he told me he always had plans to fix it up, but then he got married, a kid, a house payment, and his wife needed a car, and I had one that my wife had drove for years, a little Subaru Impreza. He says, yeah, I'll take it on a trade. Great. And he was happy. It was a good car. So we both traded, and that was good. The car had some problems. It needed a clutch. It needed tires. It needed axle shafts. It needed the cluster. Mary pointed out the key inside is broken, and this hokey system was here already.
You can see our wiring from our...
Yeah, this has been broken. These are hard to get. Unobtainium, I think. But I think I got most of the pieces to try to put one of these together. These got goofy switches. That's how you turn on and off the lights, turn signals. This is the wiper.
Did you call it unobtainium?
Unobtainium. That's an internet word. That's a $3 word.
Okay.
Unobtainium's for the stuff inside. Unobtainium.
Okay, unobtainium. What the
That's a tilt.
The stuff on Pandora from the Blue Avatar people. That's what they call the stuff that they're oring out. Unobtainium.
Well, I always thought it was stuff you couldn't get because you.
No, that's what they decided to name it.
So, anyways, T-tops are removable, but you still have this big chunk, so they're more of a sunroof. They got these prop ups, so you can get a little wind. Actually, it works really well. These engines were really underpowered, and when you put an air conditioning pump on them, they were really not very good. If you see this, Mary, the car is equipped with insulation of an optional AC. It has a spot, but of course without a pump and a condenser and all that. So,
which nowadays you got to go to a guy to do. You can't do it at home anymore.
Well, you couldn't even get these parts. But in the back, these had jump seats. This one did not come with that. Apparently 25% of them did. That's what I was told. And then I do have a set of seats for it, but I'll never put them in. They've been put together with some different frame and stuff. People used to love these BRAT seats, put them on dune buggies and stuff. Anyways, I do have a windshield for it. I got a parts car after I'd gotten this one. I found another one for cheap on Marketplace. It was just parts, but it did have a good windshield in it. I got an extra set of tops too. Anyways, the thing we're going to do with this now is we're going to put some brakes on it. Just give it a good once over. I've been driving it for about a year. Super jazzed with the car. I like it. Everywhere it goes, it's a conversation piece. Ironically, it's a conversation piece with the younger people. It's people under 25.
They haven't seen them before.
What is it? I've heard of these. This is you'd think you'd pulled up in a 308. That's a Ferrari. It's the Magnum PI Ferrari. Anyways, you would think you'd pulled up in a 308, and you're just like, it's just a Subaru. And I always say, come on, take a look. And these kids like to look at stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're out cruising today. Marianne wanted to go for a drive, so that's what we're doing, and then we're going to make a video out of it. Okay, so talking about the Subaru BRAT, you guys may have seen in my junk pile here my Subaru parts. I have an extra fuel tank. I've got some extra struts, front axles, disc brakes. The emergency brake works off the front on the Subarus. A center crossbar, which has a steering deal in it. Another steering wheel, which isn't worth a whole lot, but I've got that. Some different bumpers.
This had an internal. This was your safety in the day. This crash bar behind the plastic. Then I got 2 more hoods there. Anyways, these are the sides of the BRAT parts car that I was going to show you. I saved them because I was going to make a wall hanger out of it. But also, this is what I wanted to show you. The BRATs that came with the seats in the back had a foot spot where you step in. There used to be a little plastic thing that said 4-wheel drive. That wasn't part of this car. And you would step in that and climb in. And they also had a different roll bar setup so that a person could safely get in. Let's go in the shop and I'll show you the seats I do have. So this BRAT here that I bought, the brown one that I own, it had these seats in it. I know they didn't come with it because the guy said he'd gotten these separate. They were once upon a time this framework.
Looks like a ski lift.
Yeah, how much of this is BRAT stuff, I don't know. It's bad shape. This bracket isn't right. You can see it's been welded on. But I'm not an expert on these, so if anybody knows, put it in the comment. But anyways, they did have seat belts. And that one's already wiggly. And you would sit in there. I don't want it, it's dirty. You sit in there and then you would hold on to those. They called them the jump seats. And then there was another headrest that went behind it, and then there was a roll bar that went over that. Let's go for a walk down to my BRAT and I'll show you. Okay, so this is a little square. This would have been threaded for the seat mount. These would have been threaded for the seat belt mounts. This had a different deal. There was a headrest that went here. These were, actually there's some different brackets that would have been put on. And then on the side of the car, if you look, this one was never cut out for the 4-wheel drive footstep. This didn't have the roll bar in it, none of that. So this is one of those that just came this way. Anyways, it's just a little history lesson, a little interest in the car. We're actually got it backed in today to do some rear drum brakes, and we'll show you how those are working. These are a 13-inch tire. These are similar to what I did with my Capri the other day, which you haven't seen the video. I put some tires on it. But anyways, I bought them off of eBay. These were $200 for the whole set. And then I have a manual tire changer that I was able to take them off the rim. I painted them. Obviously, you're seeing some rust come back through. It's just rattle can paint. It's really hard to beat the factory paint when you're doing it yourself.
Now, you say 13-inch tires. Yeah. What's the 13?
13-inch. Where's your tape measure? You bragger.
13-inch.
You're such a good estimator.
Diameter.
Yeah.
Well, the people on the internet don't know. You got to show them. That's what I'm saying. I know what you're talking about.
So it's 13-inch, but
it's 14 and a half.
It's saying that, but that's, so it'd really be more like where the rubber is there. See? I don't know if you can.
Yeah, where it indents in.
That's.
Yeah, where the actual tire.
And a 2x4 is really not 2 inches by 4 inches.
No, not anymore.
It's just the way they say 13. So there's 12-inch car tires, there's 13, there's 14, there's 15, 16, 16 and a half, 17,
so on
18,
and so on.
19, and I think they skipped 20 and 21. I don't know. And then they go to 22s, 24s, 26s maybe. Anyways, these are what these came with. Some people can put a bigger tire on. They give them a weird lift and stuff. I'm not doing that. So this is a small one, so I set that on 2, and I still probably won't crank it. Oh, there's that sound.
Is it maybe in the rotor?
No. Originally, these also had a beauty ring on them. I don't have those beauty rings. I could probably buy remanufactured ones. I just didn't. I like the way it looked. A little bit used. Anyways, we'll go around the other side and we'll get set up and see if there's a noise over there. Things in the way. It's just getting better.
Oh yeah, now who's breaking tools?
You started it.
I said now who's breaking tools, not who started it. Childish.
Usually they'll break right at the end like that one. So now hopefully I didn't get a bunch of chips in my new grease.
Oh, you did.
Well, I'll have to get them out of there. Re-grease the thing.
I see a shaving in one of your splines.
Yes.
Oh, you just got it good.
It's buried in seals, right? Alright. Okay. Re-grease. I've noticed something about automotive stuff, and maybe you guys notice this too.
Grease on, grease off.
If you're not doing it twice, you're not doing it right, you know? Very seldom does it ever go one and done. I mean, I love the idea. I'm totally a fan of that. I'd love to believe that, but...
That's why mechanics charge so much.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that is the difference. You got to understand that when you're working for yourself or by yourself, you may not have the same experience and the know-how, and everything is a struggle. But you're also saving yourself some money, and you're doing it your way. I mean, how many times have we taken stuff to a mechanic and to come find out there was extra parts, it was broken, and you think, well, it wasn't broken when I took it there. Yeah, they broke it. Something happened. I'm not saying they're dishonest about it. It's just that part broke while they were doing it. And you think, well, they were too rough. One time years ago, I had these American line racing wheels on that 59 Chevy I was talking about. And they were an aluminum wheel. And I took it to a tire store, and I watched the guy put that thing that's supposed to push the bottom bead off. And it was underneath the wheel, and it's like flexing the wheel. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I didn't see that. You know, I'm like, gee whiz, bud.
Are you staring at the ceiling?
Yeah, he was just a worker. He didn't, you know.
He didn't know to be careful because they're aluminum.
He didn't care. I mean, that's the only way to say it. He didn't care. And so, like, yeah, okay, so if they would have broke one, great. Now I got 3. Where would you get another one? At the time I had those, they were out of the 70s or late 60s anyways. And they were period correct for that car, but... All right. Okay, so as Mary and I were talking, we're taking this for a drive. I wanted to show you how the 4-wheel drive worked. So the way these work is you could pull it into 4-wheel drive. See that there's a button come on. So this is high range. So normally it's front wheel drive. All I've done is engage the back. But if I want to put it in the low range, pull it up further, I like to stop for it because it is antique. So that's the first gear. Slow. It's not that slow. But...
Antique. You're 13 years older than it.
Okay, I'm antique too. But anyways, that's pretty handy. Oh, I gotta show the hill holder.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to find a hill. So let me talk about the Subaru, the Pat. Oh, and then you can shove it down at any time. Anyways, the Subaru, the next generation, have the push button on the top, and then the current versions are all it just does it itself. There was an in-between version like our Outbacks where you can pull a fuse or put a fuse in, and it would keep it in 2-wheel drive.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna show you the Subaru hill holder. Show them the hill, Mary.
I don't know if you can really see how hilly it is. Hill.
You get up. Well, you can see the side of this. All right, so if you had to stop on this hill right here, what you do is your clutch is down and it's going to roll back. You set your brake, and then you let it off. You see, and now as soon as I let up the clutch, part way, it releases the brake. So if I put it now, see, oh, here comes a car. But I didn't get rollback, right? So you'd use that if you were at a stoplight or
live in San Francisco,
stop sign or something, or just if you're off-roading this little car on the trails, and then you decided I needed a hill holder. The Subaru hill holder. I had a hill holder on a 1986 Subaru XT Turbo, and I would love to find another XT, but good luck.
Is that black one?
Yeah, that's the Subaru hill holder. I'm gonna slow down. You guys can see this brush. This is just some brush along the side of the road. If you're not from the Pacific Northwest, the undergrowth they're talking about, it's so brutal to try to go through anywhere through there. You know, if you're not on the road, there's wild holly, there's alder, there's...
Oh yeah, you're gonna get torn up.
And it's just, it's a mess. But if you can shine this other side on the other side of the road, you see once the trees get up a little bit, once you get in there, it's quite nice. If you get in, then all that will come down. Anyways, if you get into some taller trees,
It'll block out the undergrowth a lot of the time.
These weeds and stuff. It's just a mess. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's green. If you ever get a chance to come to the Northwest, you should really do it. You know, it's a neat area. You say it rains all the time, and that's true in the winter, but the summer it's not. I mean, it rains a lot in the winter. But we usually don't get too much snow or anything. It's just rain. Then you get these little patches that are nice. Usually you see a lot of deer. We see a lot of bald eagles out here. There's a lot of wildlife in general. We're just a few miles out of town. We're not really that far from anywhere. But...
Yeah, and near the ocean, so lots of biolife that way.